Okay, beautiful. So, welcome to part two of Unleash Your Purpose with Animal Insights. And this is a really fun second part. I'm excited that you're here. And I thank you also for the flex on getting the homework out to you. I hope that everybody got it. Did everyone get the homework or anyone not get it? You did. Okay, great. So we're going to spend some time today going over that and bringing to light some of the things that come up for you when you think about purpose and some of the things that may be creating clutter or confusion for you and what you might need instead. And I have some insights about purpose that we'll share and also a meditation for you. And then we're going to end with a song the way that we did the other day. What did you feel at the end of our call last week on Thursday with India Ari's song, I Am Light? How did you feel about that? Anybody? You can type in the chat or you can come off mute and share whichever. I don't have my chat up. I love ending with a song. It just really puts me in the space to take. It's like it opens up our energy pores, right? It opens up our cells to take in whatever came to us, whatever was there for us as part of the time that we spent. So I just love that.
So, Kristen, I mean, you know, music has a different way of reaching you and or other people, whatever, and depending on what your likes and dislikes. But when you allow it to flow in, then it's a little bit different. It's not just a song, and then it's a message, and then it's a affirmation, and then so again, it was for me like looking at affirmations that I'm doing already, it's also the idea of like, yes, keep doing that. It's a good thing to do. It's good for you. It's good for the soul. It's good for, it's good for the world. So I did enjoy it. So
good. I love that song too. It's just beautiful. Yeah. Okay, so let's just talk about well, before we move into the homework, I want to ask with regards to unleashing your purpose, what has come up for you since last Thursday, the conversation that we had and the exercises that we've done and all that's happened in between? What has come up for you? Anything shift for you? Anything new open up? Any synchronicities or unexplained opportunities come your way since then? If they have, just raise your hand and come off mute or type it into the chat as we go. And I want this to be really interactive today, so stay present and on here. My screen is doing things. So okay, so let's pull up and we can talk about that as we go. The homework that you did. When asked about what is your passion, what stirs your soul, what makes you feel like you're totally in harmony with why you showed up here on this planet, what comes to mind? What comes into play here? And was this hard for anybody?
It was difficult for me at first because I get stuck on the word purpose, I think. Yeah. And I think I need a different word because it's like purpose, it almost sounds like something I'm supposed to be here for somebody else, a purpose. But what came up for me was I had to start with my childhood in order for things to start pouring through. So that was a really good way to touch into that. And there was a lot of creative things that I've done in the past that I completely forgot all about. And so I went from childhood and what I liked to do as a kid and went from there and then just wrote like pages. So yeah, I think I need a different word other than purpose. Because I
Yeah.
think to me, it's just, um, my purpose would be like being joy and contentment
Mm.
to me, but that doesn't seem like a purpose. It's more like a feeling. Um, so yeah, it
Oh,
was hard.
Kimberly, that is so beautiful and so on purpose with what we're talking about here, right? Like the purpose part, like just as you said, that word can create this weight and this, oh my God, I got to figure it out. Like what's the purpose of this assignment? What is the purpose of this making this meal? It's always like this beginning of an outcome. And what you said, joy and contentment, that is the purpose, right? And aligning everything that we do to give us the feeling of joy and contentment, because that is the feeling that we can then share and bring to others, right? However, it's not just about sitting on top of a mountain in a yurt somewhere, feeling joy and contentment, right? And keeping it all to ourselves. It's about how do I interact in the world and feel joy and contentment. And so I like for purpose, I like to sub in the concept of service. And service has its own semantics around it that can start to get weird for people, right? Because service doesn't always mean like having a job. Service doesn't always mean like you're doing this. Well, money can get involved, right? Money ideas. We have to have an income, and our work ends up takes up a majority of our time. But if our work isn't always of service, then it doesn't bring us joy and contentment. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's you just summarize that so beautifully in the words that you used, and I'm not doing it justice here, but subbing in the concept of service, how can I serve others is aligned with your purpose. What feels good, brings me joy and contentment to serve others. And I'll just share about me. When I was a little kid, I was friends with the animals and the bees and the little bugs and the fox and the chipmunks and everything outside. And that's where I spent my time. And I was about saving them and making sure that they were safe and making them feel welcome and all. And now I realize that my purpose is in alignment with that, where I may not be out there saving them literally, physically, but I'm saving their connection with us. I bring about connection with the humans that saves people a lot of strife, saves animal a lot of strife, blah, blah, blah. It all flows together. That brings me joy and contentment. So it does stem back to what we loved when we were kids, So that's so beautiful, Kimberly. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Yep, Mary Helen.
Well, I was just gonna, it was really interesting. So, and it's Kimberly mentioned about the word purpose. And, it connected dots because I too looked at memories, and then that helped me get going as well. And after I started writing a few of the things that I felt about how I was when I was a kid, because I really wasn't allowed to have any animals. I wasn't around them, but I was very curious and I wanted to know everything about them. And yet when what I wrote, it was something about fascinating. They were fascinating and they were interesting. And I wanted to know how to take care of them, even though I didn't get a chance to. I knew nothing about it. Okay. And what they needed, and that I wanted to love them and blah, blah, blah. And after I wrote that, this is not even funny, I realized I was describing my parents, like what they didn't do for me. They didn't know how to love me. They didn't know how to nurture me. They didn't know how to treasure me. They didn't know how to be curious. They didn't ask me questions. They didn't want to know who I was. And so I connect that to what you said, because we didn't have a purpose. Some of us didn't feel like we had a purpose for being, other than to be there for them, to do something else,
Sure.
to be something else. And I think that's why we have that hole or that void or that space where we're just uncertain, like, where do I fit into everything? Where do I where do I put this love? Where do I put this? And of course, then it goes to animals because they're not judging you. They're not telling you no. They're not telling you later on. It was, I want to know more about what that bug eats and what they do. And I didn't
Yeah.
do as much nurturing as you did, Kristen. I didn't know about it, but I wanted to know more. And that was the thing, the curiosity. So that stayed. So that was like the best link to moving in life, was just having curiosity. So anyway, it was just funny because that all really connected in. So
Oh, I love it. I love it, Mary Helen. Thank you. And Cameron, I just sent it to you. Kim, I'll send you the homework too. Don't worry that you missed the first half. It's okay. We'll just stay on here and I'll send you the first half, and that's okay. All good. Just trust you're going to get what you need today, and you can get the rest whenever. All right, I love it. I love it. This is so good. And yeah, sorry, it's all connected. Of course. I love that, Mary Helen. Thanks for bringing that piece in. I too have a purposeless experience as an infant. I was adopted. And, as an adult, I look back on my life and I see how, even though I was adopted at a very young age, 6 weeks old, into a very loving and welcoming family, feeling purposeful and needed and wanted and loved in this world has been a challenge in my life. We remember on a cellular level, when we had as much ability to take care of ourselves, as like an earthworm on the pavement, you know what I mean? It's like, oh my gosh, no wonder I was into saving all the little bugs, excuse me. Yeah, just let anyway, okay, let's go back to the homework part. Kim, I'll send it to you as we're discussing this next piece here. I want to, we make choices that keep us safe, and we listen sometimes to the unintentional or the well-intending but not helpful advice of others who wanted to keep us safe. So I want you to think about any of the messages that you received over the years that discouraged you from pursuing the interests that you have or being creative. And I know for me, my mother, God love her, she's a very safe, playing it safe lady who likes to control things. And she has a beautiful life because of it for her. But she said, you can't do, and you have to go and get a job where you have a pension and you have benefits and you have this and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, oh my God, this is killing me, right? Because it wasn't my purpose. But interestingly enough, I was in communication. I worked as a speech language pathologist with children and adults who could not speak. So I worked as a telepathic communicator anyway, before I ever even really embodied this work that I do that is the old part of me, in the way that I bring it to the world. So what were some of the messages? I can't be whatever. I can't follow my purpose until I what? Or I can't be a what until I what? Or if I did step out and do what I want to do or start this new thing, it doesn't have to be your work. I'm talking anything. I would disappoint someone, or I would really piss someone off, or I would leave someone behind. So I'd like to just hear a couple of examples of those from you. What came up for you? Anybody?
Can you say it again? I'm sorry.
Sure. What were the things that either you told yourself or that you heard from others that created beliefs for you that you couldn't step out and do what you wanted to do, to follow the things that brought you joy and contentment, to follow the things that lit up your soul? For me, it was, you can't do something that's out of the ordinary or that is basically working for yourself because you'll never make any money. I also was really kind of chided for caring about animals, not more than people. Although as a kid, it was like a more or less, but I just felt compassion for them. And I was kind of chided for, crying about the animal who got hurt, but not the person who was in a bad way or something, like, and so what was important to me, it didn't feel valued. So how I would finish that statement is I cannot be fully on point with serving animals until I learned how to want to help people too, which did play out in my life, right? I had to go work with the people before I could give myself permission to work with animals. Does that make sense? Does that help him? So what came
Yeah.
up for you? Go ahead.
Oh. Well, I feel similar to that. Like, because I quit my corporate job in 2020 because the animal communication was pulling at me. Like, there was just no more denying that that's where I had to go with that route or with my life.
Mhm.
And and then COVID hit and it just was a mess. And I was in California and locked down and
Mhm.
but I got a lot of, well, can you make money at that? And it's like, well, I'm kind of not really looking at the money. I'm looking at that I'm doing what I want to be, what my soul is calling me to do.
Right.
And I've never had anybody supporting me in this, what I'm doing. I've had a few friends, but never the people that I needed to support me.
Mhm.
So I don't know if that's making sense, but
It does. It really does. Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about is, well, the money block there. People say, hey, you can't make any money at this. You can't do this for a living because, it's going to take up all your time and you're not going to be able to have a house or whatever. But Kim, what you said there is, it brings up a point about following your purpose, following what brings you joy and contentment. I'm using Kimberly's words here, and fulfillment, and not worrying about the abundance that comes, because it will come. It will come. And that's what I specialize in, is helping people monetize their impact, right? Like monetize your passion. That's what we're here to do. In my view, everyone has a gift to bring, and it's not, sitting in a cubicle doing blah blah blah, blah, right? Like, and there is, it's like, the universe is a very intelligent system, is it not? Like the universe knows what it's doing. Look all around us, look at nature. It is like to the nth degree perfection. And us being here means that we are here on a perfect mission. And we are inspired to be and do is designed as part of that music, part of that beautiful tapestry. It's not by a mistake. And you're not off by wanting to follow it. So, yeah, absolutely. Kim, I just sent you the homework in an email.
thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else hear any or old beliefs or things from when you were little or whatever, or anybody that you feel you would leave out or leave behind or really piss off if you decided to step in and do when you decided to step in and do your thing? And I just have to cough a minute, so I'm going to put myself on mute so somebody go.
Oh, I'll go real fast. I really would love to leave. Oh, I don't mean to talk when other people feel free to interrupt me, whatever. I guess the things that the messages that discouraged me was a lot. That was most of it. It was, there was so many things. And, being curious, being this, being that, and being different. And I was just kind of ignored. And so with that, I think in a way that was a blessing. But, having the messages that with this curiosity and with this wanting to know more, it was always very discouraged. Children are meant to be seen and not heard. Ask a stupid question, you get a stupid answer. That's what I heard. Things like that. And then also being afraid because you get in trouble for being inquisitive, for doing those things. So I was just like, so for me, it was like, I cannot be safe until I stop doing things that are adventurous. I have to stop doing that. I can't be adventurous. I can't try harder. I can't try in something different, and I'm sure everybody has some thread that connects with that. Because a lot of people that work with animals, it's safety. A lot of it's safety related, so it's a perfect question. And then I thought if I ever screwed up, that was the fill in the blank, I would be disappointed. But it was always, I guess for me, the disappointment was more about feeling disappointed in myself. I internalized it, and not doing, because I always wanted to do my best, but it wouldn't always be enough because you never got any validation, which is whatever, It was just, I didn't want to disappoint myself because I lived with so much of the bar lowering, no one raised the bar. So it wasn't until I realized that, what, I know something, I know this is something. I've said this before, but when I saw this done, I was like, I know that has to be real. And that's what I want to do. And then I was like, I'm already the weirdo. That's okay. So it all worked out.
I love already weirdos, right? Like,
I know.
great.
Yeah.
Great.
So that's it.
And the already weirdos save the world. Like we're doing it, I love it. I love it. Thanks, Mary Helen. Okay. So my next question, just being able to kind of free yourself from that other stuff, right? Like free yourself. And when you start doing the things that bring you joy, that bring you fulfillment, that feel of service, right? And people say when you love what you do, it feels like you're not even working. And that is very true. Sometimes there's a gap in the middle around what that means and what that feels like, right? As you're getting there, but just stay with it, right? And I've got some tips and ideas for people to stay on task here. Also, I'm going to share in a minute. But what are the feelings? And Kimberly, you said it earlier, joy and contentment. What are the feelings that come to you when you are doing the work that is on purpose for you, that is purposeful, that is of service, that is natural, that is part of your gifts? What are the feelings that you feel internally and surrounding you? Just kind of shout those out, whatever those were to you. You can type them in the chat, whatever. For me, it's fulfillment, satisfaction, ease, joy, simplicity. Anything that feels complex to me is like, oh God, that's not on purpose. Put it over there. Let somebody else do it. Anybody else have? Because those feelings are the feelings that we want to maintain, right? Because how we attract opportunities and experiences and the right people and the right places and all the right things into our lives to be able to carry out our purpose, it starts with a vibration that we have. And if we are vibrating under like the energy of I'm doing something that I don't want to be doing, or I'm frustrated about not knowing my purpose, or I'm confused about how to get started, all those things, that's the emotion and the energy that we're in. We are attracting all kinds of dissonant energy. But by practicing feelings of contentment and happiness and ease and wonder and curiosity, right? Simplicity, joy, love is a big one. Then all the right opportunities and experiences come our way, from what pops into your email inbox, from the people that you meet during your day, from the ideas, you sit down and the ideas that come to you, the person to get in contact with who you know, you met 2 years ago who had said, oh, I could really use some help with blah, right? Like all of that comes to us when we are in those feelings. So I ask you to identify those feelings and then consider the things that you can do to cultivate those feelings, to stay in those feelings. And usually that means taking some step toward your purpose, some step on purpose toward being of service that is in love. Right? Does this make sense to everybody? Anybody have questions or thoughts or feeling like you're getting glitchy? No? So with that, I asked you to make a commitment to yourself, really make like a pledge to yourself and being committed to unleashing your purpose, but really following your bliss, right? And trusting that the universe cooperates with you in bringing this forward, bringing this to life, and knowing, believing, really believing and knowing that the right people will show up, the right opportunities will appear. Anything that feels like an obstacle is just going to dissolve and move aside, and that every necessary circumstance, every bit of guidance that you need is going to materialize. And knowing that, and that really is how the universe works. That really is how the universe works. Knowing that, I want to ask you, what would you love? What would you enjoy? And I want you to go ahead and share about that now. What would you love? If everything lined up for you, what would you love to do, to be, to give, to be a part of in service? We're going to do a meditation with the animals in a minute, but I'd like to hear from a couple of people first. Get wild with this, like really let yourself go. What would you love? I see smiles. Come on.
I'll say something. Well, I'm kind of doing what I love now, but I want to take it a step further, and I would like to have, some acreage to where I can have retreats with animals that are healing, and I always say I want a mini farm. I want mini horse, mini cow.
I love
And,
it.
and just because I'm mini, I'm only 5 feet. So, but I don't know, just to like be outside with animals and people who love animals and, you know, just like sharing about life, that it doesn't have to be so difficult and that you can have this bliss and this, if you just trust and have faith in it. I mean, I'm there, but it's like just a little, I just need the universe to, I don't know. I feel like it's coming. It's almost here.
Love it. I love it. I love it. And I know that feeling when it's like right there, the bubble is right there and you feel it, it's just coming in. Beautiful. I love it, Kim. And I love the way you just light up thinking about that and talking about that and feeling it. So I love it. Beautiful. Stay in that feeling. See it so. Visualize it. Who else? What would you love? What would you love? We get what we ask for. So if we let ourselves start to kind of dream big and go there and just say it, right? Sometimes like, oh God, it feels too big. It feels outlandish. Or, oh, I don't know how to fill in all the details. I'm not sure, but this is the first thing that comes. Go with the first thing that comes. Don't tap it down.
I'll just say what I would love, because I still, after doing this, I have the thing about well, I don't know. I don't know if I understand that. I don't know if I get that, whatever. But what I got from what your question was and connecting to the dots that were previously in the questions, what I would love was bringing forth the me that had the younger me, that had all the curiosity, who was fearless, who just spurted things out and probably embarrassed everybody. but that was like, there wasn't any fear in there. I mean, it wasn't as much. It wasn't about the fear of being being me. And that
Mm.
I struggle with, you know me, I struggle with that. And so it's really like doing all the work, personal work, because that's what animals have brought me. I think I have a kind of a different angle on it because they brought me, you know? So, yeah.
Mary Helen, it's so beautiful. And I exactly as you said, they brought you bring a different angle because they brought a different angle for you. Like, and this is the importance, you guys. All of you can just feel what Mary Helen just shared there, right? Like, it's important to get your purpose moving because there are people who need that specific angle, right? They don't need my angle. They don't need somebody else's angle. They need your angle. And it's so true. And I bring yourself forward. Do it, Mary Helen. And you are doing it more and more and more and more. I see you, I know you, I love you, you're in my world always. I hope you're always in my world. And you are showing up and you look different. You know, I mean, right? Sophia knows. Hi, Sophia. I'm so glad you're here.
Thanks very much.
It's so important. It's so important. So thank you, Mary Helen. Sophia, we're just talking about from the homework that came out late. So if you didn't get it, that's okay. I'll send it to you, but I did send it. What would you love? What would you love? And if you're just getting caught up, that's okay. You can chime in whenever, but we're at the point on there about, what would you love? If you knew, if everything lined up, if you believed and knew, which I know you do, all of you, that the universe is cooperating with you to bring this forward, what would you love? What would you enjoy? And what would you need for support? So anybody want to share on that? And I just added that piece. What would you need for support? What would the things be? This is also part of putting a request out there to the universe. Like, geez, I need people to help me. I need somebody to clean the manure. I would need somebody to head up the food for the retreats, Kim, right? Like, I don't want to do that part. I love to cook, but I don't want to cook for 30 people or 10 people. Two of my kids just came home. I have 3 kids. 2 of them came home from college, and planning dinners is a completely different thing than it's been for the past since Christmas, So anybody else? Go ahead, go for it. This is an opportunity. Sophia, go.
Yeah, it's interesting that you said that because when I think of what I need for support, I never think of the little things that get me through the day.
Mm-hmm.
I always focus like, well, I need spiritual support in a community, and I need all of that, which is true. But yeah, sometimes I need a pet sitter because I have sick dogs and I can't get out and I can't get to do things because I slept 3 hours because 2 of them have been up sick all night. So I never think of those little things. So you saying I need help with the manure and I need help to cook, it's like, yeah, I can ask for support for those little things as well. It doesn't make me in any way less or in any way. And I never think to do that ever. Never, ever.
Oh, sweetheart. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's a saying that I love. I serve, I deserve. I serve, I deserve. And that can be about a lot of things, right? But thank you for voicing that, Sophia. Like, that to the universe is like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge for me, actually. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Um, you know, just being in space to talk about this, being in connection and community to grow together in this, right? Like, you know, well, we all have this inner confidence. You wouldn't be here if you didn't have this inner confidence. You wouldn't be here if this weren't something that, you know, woke you up every morning and kept you up every night, right? This thing in you that you want to bring forward. I know that's what it is for me. And so that's also one of the ways that I help. I help through doing these events every month, sometimes more than one. I have something else coming up tomorrow, the Mastery Hour. If anybody wants to come to that, some of you who are in my world already are already invited to that. Um, and also I said in the first part that I would share about the program that I have, and I'm starting it. It's a group. It's a group for unleashing your purpose, bringing it forward in your own unique way, and what it is that is special about you, how you serve, who you serve, and how you serve them, so that you can get this going, right? And it's a group program. It's 90 days, it's 3 months, it's smaller, it's a smaller container than I usually work with people in. Usually I work with people for 6 months to a year. But this just feels so exciting, and the timing is right, and the dynamic is right. And so so I'm really excited about that too. So just thinking about the support piece and coming together with people to share ideas and say, hey, I want to get on with this, but I can't offload this. And just having a community to grow with, a community to share things with, a community to bounce ideas off of, a community to support and coach each other and to grow together. That's a part of what this group program is going to be. So when we're done today, I'll put a link in the chat. If you're interested in that, it's a really like no-brainer investment. It's not tons of money. It's for people who want to get on purpose with their purpose, people who want to get going with what it is and bring this forward and start helping others, right? And whatever that looks like for you. It's not about it has to become your business today. It's about getting on purpose and starting with your purpose today. If you already have that and you want to make it your business, then absolutely, we'll ride with that too. That's a part of it. So one more person, what would you love? What would you really enjoy? And what would be the things that you need support around? As women, we forget this part. I do. Oh God, I can do it. Oh, I'll just take care of it myself. I'll do it all. No worries, no worries. And then you sit there and nothing gets done because you're trying to do it all yourself, right? I think that's why last weekend, not this one, but the one before, I think that's why my energy got just so tanked. I didn't ask for help. I didn't really receive any help because I didn't ask for it, and I didn't allow it. I didn't accept the help when it was offered. And I got hit hard, you know, and I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. That's how I look at that. I'm so grateful. Yesterday, as I woke up, I was like, oh my God, ugh, I felt miserable. And I said, I am so grateful that I learned this lesson. You know, thank you for showing me. And I am on it. I will treat myself better and do a better job of being in flow. And look at, I don't know, can you guys see who's right here as I'm talking about this, who's at my heart, burying her head in my heart? For those of you who don't know, this is Rosie. And anytime I am working myself or talking about something that is such a deep matter of the heart, or with a client on Zoom or in a call, when there is a heart matter coming up, Rosie is front and center. She is just, she's on purpose. She is living in her unleashed purpose. Beautiful. So, okay, anybody else want to share?
Well, when I went through trying to find things that excited me, and I started thinking about all the things that I had come up with in the past. I'm more in the zone when I'm creating with ideas rather than actually doing it. Like I've
Mhm.
come up with really creative businesses, but I really wouldn't want to run that business.
Mhm.
And I've done that several, like I think there were like 4 of them that I came up with, but I wouldn't want to do it. Like I came up with a dating service that was a coffee shop. The dating service was for women. It was called No Ordinary Joe. I have a coffee shop idea with a yarn shop that I wanted to buy, and it was called the Jittery Knitter. So I
Wait,
come up with
say that
these
one again?
creative, the Jittery Knitter,
Oh,
because
okay.
it's a coffee shop and a yarn shop.
Oh my God.
Um, it's, you know, when I'm renovating a house or my bathroom or, you know, decorating, I got to actually, everything's falling into place. I'm buying a new home at the end of the year. Um, don't know if I mentioned that or not.
Mhm.
So everything is just going into, everything's falling into place to getting my own home that I've never had before. When I was growing up, I never lived in a house. It was always in an apartment. So the first home I had was with my husband, 17 years. Now I'm actually going to have my own place. And I'm an introvert. So I, these ideas, it's more of the ideas that I get all excited about, rather than in the process of doing those things. So that's why
Mhm.
the word purpose was kind of like, kind of stumbling me.
Yeah.
So I don't know, do I have a job where I'm just a think tank? I don't know, because I don't know what kind of jobs are out there for that kind of thing. I guess the only thing that I was really passionate about that I came up with is that I was a social worker. I wanted to be one since I was 7, just because I saw one helping a family member because I knew my family needed help. Later on, after I finally got my social work degree at age 27, because it took me a while to get there, 2 years into it, I didn't want to do it anymore. I realized that really I was trying to fix myself or understand myself and my family rather than really wanting that as a job. But my job was in a nursing home, which is the last thing I wanted to do because I wanted to work with kids. Um, so I started to write a book, it's called Through Love and Laughter. And I actually reached out to all the nursing homes trying to get stories. And I envisioned changing things in the nursing home based on interactions with the activities director and the nurse and the residents and the staff to create stories, to sort of like a chicken soup for the soul book.
Yeah.
Um, so, you know, to create a more positive representation or energy about nursing homes rather than all the negative things, because there's a lot
Yeah.
of positive things that happened, you
Yeah.
know, over the 10 years that I was working in nursing homes. And that came back to me, and I actually think I might want to pursue that again in some fashion because I completely forgot all about it. I had a director of the nursing home that I was working for at the time when I came up with the idea, and she told me I wasn't allowed to talk about it to anybody in our nursing home because she thought it was very negative.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ah.
So, but I had other nursing homes in the area that really loved the idea, and I did get like letters from, you know, different states and stuff like that. So that came up for me, which I totally forgot all about,
Yes.
going through the process of all my different business ideas and things like that.
Yeah.
That one kind of came up.
Kimberly, wow. Like idea central.
Yeah. Yeah. I am. It's all in my head all the time.
It is. So get it out of your head, write it all down, put it somewhere, right? So you free up space for the next layer of support to come in, right? The next layer. And there absolutely are jobs, like not jobs. I'm not saying job. Everything that you just talked about is of service, right? Purpose is the service, right? So get the purpose out of it. But the idea about No Ordinary Joe, I love it. The Jittery Knitter, oh my God, like hilarious, amazing, all in service, right? This idea about the nursing homes in service. This is where, guys, it's like just, you can always find it. It's there, right? Right? It's about service. What lights you up? What feels good? And as you were talking about that, it just feels so good and so needed and necessary. I'm not saying go in any one direction or whatever, but what I do want to go back to is, yes, as an idea generator, that role, people get so stuck in their own stuff. People need someone to help them pull the idea and call it a thing. Right. And so the being somebody saying, oh, I really want to start a coffee shop. I've always wanted to start a coffee shop, but there are 9 in my town. And you're the one who says, well, all right, let's, being able to generate those ideas about making it specific for someone, or like, that's a real gift, makes you an excellent coach, makes you an excellent consultant. And there are jobs just being idea generators. There is a way to monetize that in the world. So I just want to give that to you. Love it. Love it. All of it.
And I want to enthusiastically and cheerleadingly, whatever that's a word, support what you said, because I think that's such an awesome thing. And I know so many people, especially looking for sort of second careers and want to leave like whatever they've been doing for 20 years and want to start their own thing, but don't know how to start and where to go. So yeah, please just put that out there. So many people are looking for that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Kristen, that's like, because I know in other groups and other calls, but that's like the alchemist, right? That's
It
like,
is.
you know, that's like the idea. I mean, I love it because I'm telling you, I got to talk to you, to Kimberly about this, because my sister was talking about something else, and I'm like, oh, I got another aspect of the nursing home thing. So, Kim, I got to talk to you later to help you with. You may not need that help, but to add on. So,
Yes.
I love it.
Yes, I love it too. And yes, Mary Helen, exactly, the alchemist. So I'm so glad you brought that up. Because we all have an archetype that is like the driver of our soul in bringing this purpose forward, right? We all have an archetype, and usually 2 who are really closely working together. And alchemist is one. I have alchemist in me, and this is part of the group program that we're going to work through our archetypes, our soul purpose archetypes. And the alchemist is one who brings things forward like very powerfully, lots of ideas, lots of I'm going to say almost magically, because the idea generation and the creative process is easy for us, right? And people love that, because some people get really stuck in their ways. They get stuck in their own stuff. So they are looking for someone who can make it easier for them. And that archetype, yes, you pegged it, Mary Helen, is the alchemist. So Kimberly, it wouldn't surprise me if you have some alchemist in your soul brand, in your soul purpose team. And that's one of the things, the soul brand archetypes is one of the things that we'll be working through at the very beginning in the group program. So, okay, I just want to be mindful of time, and I know that people have things to get to. And I want to jump over to, not here, but here, and I want to have time for our song. Let's do this. It's 12:55. Does anyone have to go right at 1 o'clock? Just tell me, and I will end at 1. If you can, you do, Kimberly. Okay. Okay. I want to honor everybody who's here and been here. I'm going to do that. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take 1 minute to just do, because we can do things very quickly here. Feel your feet on the ground, and just all that's fun and idea movement and energy movement and being heard, being seen, feeling this for yourself on every level that you are. I'd like you to, as you consider unleashing your purpose, as you consider, like letting your heart sing, letting your best self come forward, getting curious about why you're here, what you can bring here, how you can serve here on this planet at this time that is so perfect, so perfect. And I invite you to just feel the animals around you in your life, the animals who are your friends, animals who are in your family right now, those who've been with you in spirit, and just very easily allow them to share with you any ideas they have, any messages they have about your purpose, about unleashing this part of you that is so natural and so on point and so necessary and needed. Just breathe that in. Notice what you notice. Feel what you feel from them. You can write it down or just take it in. And you can go back to this feeling at any time. Let them support you. They partner with us on being our best selves. And unleashing our purpose, stepping into it and bringing it forward is part of being our best selves. When we tap it down and shove it away and keep it quiet so that we're safe and we're acceptable, that's not being our best selves. So what I'd like to do is, well, first I'm going to put in the chat. I just posted a link to my calendar. If you want to hear about the group program, and it's literally, it's like going to be so beautiful, and it's a no-brainer on the investment level. And the fact that it's group is really exciting for me. I love leading groups, and you can just feel here too, the ideas and the generation, that's all a part of it in a very orchestrated way. Go ahead and you can just get on my schedule and we can talk about if that's right for you. But what I would like to do is end with just some tips, and I'll move through them very quickly, and then anybody who has to go can go, and anybody who wants to stay will stay for an extra couple minutes. The first thing, trust and know and accept that the universe and all the things that happen is an intelligent system, and you, us, each of us being here at this time is not by accident. So these inspirations and these opportunities, these things that happen, they're part of an ultra intelligent system. Second thing, seize every opportunity, no matter how small, to give yourself away in service, to share something that comes easily and naturally to you. Doesn't mean take up all your time, you know, doing something else. It just means be of service. When you're inspired to help, when you're inspired to share, do it. Third one is spend time aligning with intention. Spend time in thought with animals, with nature, going out and looking up to the treetops and asking, what can I do to feel more on purpose? And just being quiet and letting it come in. Align with that field of intention. Number 4 is ignore what anyone else tells you about your purpose. Ignore it. Unless they are, as Sophia was saying, cheering you on and celebrating you. Anybody says any ish about your purpose, just whoosh, thank you so much. Isn't that interesting? Boom, toss it out. Okay, ignore it. 5th thing, remember that the universe creates everything with intention, and that everyone and everything here on the planet will work on your behalf when you set an intention. When you say, I desire this, I want this, this is what I want to do. I love all of the cats coming up in the pictures now. Charlotte is just here. I see Mary Helen's kitty. Kimberly's got hers. Number 6, study, stay close with, and follow. Stay in connection with the people who are living their lives on purpose. Stay in connection with people who want to live their life this way. And having the animal piece around it is just so empowering, and creates a safety that that not every connection does, every community does. 7th thing, act as if you're living the life you were intended to live, even if the word purpose gets you a little befuddled, okay? Whatever, it just invite in whatever it is that helps you feel those feelings that Kimberly, you said so beautifully, joy and contentment, happiness, fulfillment, right? Just act as if you're feeling that way. Act as if you're living that way. And the the last thing is to connect with nature intentionally in meditation. Doesn't have to be for 30 minutes or 10 minutes. It can be for 30 seconds. Just like we did today. I had you ask, this is easy. Ask your animals, what do they have for you about your purpose? Boom, that's as simple as it is. Okay? Keep those 8 things close with you to support you on your purpose. All right, so does anyone have any comments or questions? And if not, then I will go to our song and we will end as close to on time as I intend. Anybody? Go ahead, come off mute now to ask questions if you have them. I put the link in the chat. And I'll send the link to the 2 songs in an email follow-up for you as well today.
I have a question.
Yeah.
This is the last thought that came to my mind last night as I was doing the exercises. And you haven't even brought this up before, but you know how time just flies, especially the older you get, the faster it goes. And then there are times where I find like the work week goes by really fast. And then the weekend goes by super slow, and you feel like you accomplish so much, and then you look at the clock and you can't believe that it's not like the end of the day and almost over. Does doing all of this stuff create that feeling where it slows down the time? Because I have had experienced those that, when I'm just like really happy and in the moment and everything else, it's time slows down.
Yes.
So is that like a byproduct of all of this too?
Yes, my sense is you know the answer to that question because the way you're asking it. Yes, and yes, it's being in alignment. That's quantum leaping, right? That's bending time. What they talk about bending time. There's a beautiful book. It's called Happy Pocket Full of Money by Gikandi. I don't remember his name. Gikandi. Happy Pocket Full of Money. It's got beautiful poppies all over the cover. And it talks about the concept of time and when we are living on purpose. Lots of books talk about that. The other one is The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. Great book. But yeah, absolutely, Kimberly. And that's when, when you're doing what you love, it doesn't feel like work. It comes from that as well, right? And what you're asking too is just our ability to intentionally command that space, right? Like that's that gooey, gummy ether space where we can create what we want. It's when we bent that time to be in that space of alignment with joy, happiness, feeling good. Absolutely. Very, beautiful. Thanks for asking. Okay, so I'm going to do this and share my screen, and then hopefully play this song for you. Share my screen, so you guys should be able to see my screen now. Ooh, it's a busy screen. And some of you know this song, but it really sums this up so beautifully. Oops, sorry.
This AI tool will take your idea and create a complete book, complete with design, images, layout, everything, including
why have we
Kristen, it's not playing.
do you remember to love
Oh.
you remember why have we taken birth? Do you remember to love, serve and remember to love, serve and remember. Why have we come to earth? Do why have we taken birth? Do you to love, serve and remember to love, serve and remember to love, serve and to love, serve to serve to love, serve and remember to love, serve and remember to love, serve and
I love that one so much. Love you all. Thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mary Helen, for reminding me to come on. Thanks. I thought it was at 1. Thank you, everybody. Bye.